To get started using Screencastify Questions, we first need to make sure that we have a Screencastify video available. You can use a video from last year, and I'll show you how to get to that in just a second, but I'm going to create a new video here. Even if you're a high school teacher, this is still going to apply to you, even though this example is obviously for elementary students. So I have installed Screencastify already, and I'm ready to use my microphone and my browser tab to actually create this video for students. In this example, we're going to be walking the students through some problems, and then the questions that I'll ask on the Screencastify side will be applicable to what the answer would be for the problem. So let's click record. And then I might do something like read the information to the students, but at this point I'm just making a regular Screencastify video. So I say there were 4 sharks swimming in the reef, and as a group we're going to go through and move our 4 sharks. And then I read on and it says 4 more sharks came along. So I get 4 more sharks coming along here. So again, I'm just creating this lesson as the teacher so that the students have some information, and then at some point I'm going to ask them a question. And in this case, it's going to be how many sharks are there in all? So the students will be able to answer the question in their Screencastify video. I'll go to my next example, and same idea here. We have our 3 clownfish swimming, and then 6 more come along. And so then my question on Screencastify is going to be how many in total? How many clownfish are there in all? Once I'm done, I'll just click that stop button and it's going to stop my recording and process that video for me. If I have a Screencastify video from last year, all I need to do is click my Screencastify icon at the top, choose the My Recordings option, and then find that Screencastify video among my videos. So I create this new Screencastify video, and now I'm ready to add questions to it. Over here on the right hand side, I'm going to add those questions. I'm going to rename this real quick. And then I'll click this interactive questions. Now I'm in this new area of Screencastify where I'm able to add those questions for students. You can see at the bottom here, I will be able to watch my video, and then I know, for instance, on this one exactly where I want to ask that question. So I got to this point where I've added all of my squares and I'm ready to ask my question to students. So I'm just going to click this blue button here and choose Add Question. At this point, the only questions that we're able to ask are multiple choice questions, and it does require that we have at least 2 answer options, and one of those must be marked as correct. So my first question was, how many sharks? I'll just say in all. And then I give my answer options, and mine are going to be 4, 6, 8, and 10. We know that the correct answer was 8. So think of these questions as just a quick check for understanding, especially in a video like this one, where I don't actually give the students the answer in the video. We work through the problem, but then the students are going to be asked the question at the end. You could also tell students that maybe while you are marking one of the answers as correct, you're not necessarily taking a grade on whether they get it correct or incorrect. And so the question might just be like, how do you feel about the content so far? Do you have any questions? Yes, no, whatever. And yes, you have to mark one of them correct, but you could still ask these questions in almost like a survey. Then, of course, a check for understanding, right? Review the information that was just shared in the video, ask a question to the students, and then have them answer it. In just a minute, we're going to see what this actually looks like on the student end as well. And then I'll click Save. So now we're going to keep going, and we're going to get to the point where we have added all of our squares for our last one. And now I'm going to add another question. And then add my answer choices. And again, it's going to be answer C this time. So I'll click Save, and my 2 questions have been added to my Screencastify video. If I've got a longer video, most of your videos will probably be longer than a minute. So I have a longer video and I've added all the questions that I want to this video. Over on the right-hand side, I'm going to a list view of all the questions that I've asked. So I can see at what points am I asking students each of these questions. If I need to edit them, I'll just come up here, click Edit, and then Edit, then Answer Choice. And I'm actually going to edit this one, and I'm going to rearrange these answers a little bit. And we'll make answer A the correct answer. If I need to delete a question, I can always do that as well. Delete that question, and that will take that out for the students. So it's fairly easy to take a video and add those interactive questions. It's just a matter of, at this point, of thinking about what questions you want to ask the students. So now I'm going to click Share, and then copy watch page link. So copy, and now my students are ready to view this video. As you can see right here, it says, in order to collect question responses, viewers will be asked to sign in with an email to view the video. So students will be able to sign in with their Google account. To edit these settings, you can visit the main page, and that main page is this one right here. We can edit those settings. But at this point, I do want students to sign in with their Google account because I want a record of all the students that have answered the questions, and I want those analytics. So let's pull up a student view and see what that looks like. So I'm going to use my son's account, and we're going to go to that watch page. You can see right here he's being asked to sign in with Google. So the video is starting to play, and I'm going to scrub a little bit and get to this point where I have a question. And the video pauses and the question pops up. Okay, so what if the student clicks out of that question? Or tries to go forward? Notice right here, I think it popped up pretty quickly. You can't skip ahead. So the students could go back and watch the information. So maybe they're not ready to answer that question yet. That's okay. They can go back and review the answer or the question and review the information that's been shared so far. And then when they're ready, they can click back on that question and answer the question. This time we're going to let Johnny get the correct answer. So I'm going to choose 8 and submit, and it's instant feedback for Johnny. So he can see that he got the right answer and he's good to go. Again, if we're thinking about Check for Understanding, this is really awesome for instant feedback. Click Continue. And then I'm going to move forward in my video to get to this second question here. And now we want Johnny to answer the incorrect answer. So he thinks it's 8 again. And when we click Submit, it's going to show him that wasn't quite right. So it shows him the correct answer, and then it lets him know that he got it wrong. So can Johnny go back and change his answer? He cannot. He can go back and review those answers, but he can't actually change his answer. So this is just something to note with students. And then you can see that I have a green dot right here showing that I got a correct response, and a red dot over here with an incorrect response. As you saw probably in my video, maybe some of you even thought this, can I skip ahead in the video? I can kind of skip ahead in a video, but once I hit a question, I have to answer that question. So from beginning to the first question, I could skip ahead between questions here, but I have to be able to answer that question. So that's just something to note with students. They cannot proceed without answering a question, but they could scrub back and forth, so they could review information as many times as they want before actually answering that question. But to move ahead, they do need to answer a question along this timeline here. So I'm going to minimize that and now go back to my teacher page and see what this looks like for the teachers. So we're getting some analytics here. So I had my questions where I built my video. I have share where I share that. And then finally, I have responses. And you can see here, Jonathan did it, and this is his TSC name, and it has his username right up there with at tscstudents.net. It gave me the score and showed me that he's done. And what I might suggest doing is adding a question all the way at the end of the video also, just to, again, get students a little check for understanding there. And then I'm going to get question 1 analytics and question 2 analytics. Let's see what happens when we do this for another student. So I'm going to use my other kid here, because we want to see how it looks for multiple students. So Tyler is a math whiz, we'll say, and he knows both of the answers, and he's going to fly through this. So Tyler has watched the video, and then we're going to come over here to our responses tab, and it's going to show up right here with his score, question 1 and question 2. So it's going to give me those answers for Tyler. We're going to get additional analytics later on, so you can see I have students and questions here. So we will have more information on students. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like, but it does say coming soon. So I'm hoping we get things like how much time they spent watching the video and all of that. But for right now, this is a really good start for adding check for understanding questions to your Screencastify videos and getting some data back about how students did on their work. For this webinar, we're asking that you complete a few steps before earning your PGPs for today. The first step you may have already done, create a Screencastify video. For step 2, add 2 questions to your video, very similar to what I did. Step 3, send a video to your class or a colleague. It's okay if you're not ready to send this to students yet, just have a colleague try out your video. Send them the link and they can answer the questions. And step 4, take a screenshot of your analytics page. We want to see that somebody took your quiz. If you're looking for somebody to take your quiz, you can email Sarah Margison. She'd be happy to take your test. After this, you'll submit your screenshot to your PGP form and earn those PGPs.